This is a movie that I highly recommend you see in theaters. Doing really well for a 3.5 hour movie with an intermission. You know, I can't imagine the pitch meeting that Brady Corbet went into. Yeah, I want to make a picture about architecture and these guys in 3.5 hours, and I'm throwing an intermission and shoot it in VistaVision. VistaVision hasn't been used since the early 60s. The giant cameras on their side. Paramount did it as an answer to television. This movie was shot in VistaVision. Guy, what was that like? Because those cameras are super noisy as well.
Well, we could certainly hear them, but I think, because of the beautiful immersive work and script that we were engaged in, I felt like I was able to tune them out. They weren't distracting, to be honest. And the strange turn of events is this is pretty much the only film I've ever done where I've done no ADR.
Wow.
So, I mean, I realize that it's just one frequency that the camera operates on, and you can find that frequency and turn it down. So it's not like a helicopter flying over that ruins your dialogue and you've got to redo the dialogue for that scene. But it was just an incredible irony that, on a movie with this wonderful old piece of noisy equipment, we didn't have to do anything sound-wise
But did you feel like you were James Stewart in Vertigo?
Yes.
Absolutely. They made only a few films like Vertigo, White Christmas, One Eye Jacks, I think. The last movie ever made in VistaVision was Debbie Reynolds and My Six Loves, which was this frothy comedy that you wouldn't even think would need that.
I felt more like Debbie Reynolds. Yeah. Now you're talking.
That was the other movie.
That was the other movie, yeah.
Before we give you your awards, just talk to me about the relevance now as you see it of this movie for America and maybe the world today, what it has to say.
I think Adrien's better to speak to this than I am. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Well, this movie was written many years ago, and Brady's spoken about this as well, about, when you set out to make a film, you want the film to speak to things that are meaningful and of relevance. And, there was an immigrant crisis then. And, I think it speaks to so much. And I think the beauty of film is it is this immersive experience, especially the cinematic experience of like just sitting together in a darkened room and watching these characters' lives unfold. And if you manage to really become immersed in it, and you gain understanding and exposure to circumstances that you do not experience personally, or maybe someone and it connects something and it bridges that divide. It's such a beautiful thing. And I feel very privileged to be a part of this movie. I know Guy does as well. And I love that this artistic work can evoke an understanding of the hardships that others face. And, we live in a very complex world and a very complex time. And perhaps it's always been complex, but it feels very complex right now. And to do work that speaks to that and gives a degree of insight into that hardship that is so universal, this feeling of being othered, the feeling of not being quite welcome no matter what your contribution is. And purely even an artistic yearning that so many of us feel, and is a challenge to live up to, our own hopes and dreams. And I think it's just a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to put out into the world, and it is it is it is something that we can witness through seeing characters' lives in the past and what they've endured and the lingering traumas that come from those times, and to understand how, as a society and as a community, we have to be less divided and more inclusive.
Great message. Well, yeah, that that definitely sums it up. Thank you both for joining us here and talking about your careers, even the stuff you didn't want to talk about. It was great. You're both terrific. I wish you the best of luck at the Oscars. Oh, and I saw that Halle Berry, after you won the Golden Globe, or when you got the nomination for the Oscar, actually, she went on her Instagram to congratulate you. So I don't know if she's presenting again on the Oscars this year,
I'd love that.
but that was one of the
She's
most
she's so
one of the
sweet.
most
She's been very
famous
sweet.
Oscar acceptance speeches ever, and it was fun that she she did that. So anyway, I wish you the best of luck, no matter who's presenting in your categories, and thank you for joining us. And now, I want to bring back to the stage Roger Durling, who's going to make a presentation here.
Hello there. But before I present the awards, I want to give a big shout out to Pete Hammond. As I mentioned earlier, he's been doing this for 23 years. 23 years ago, the film festival today is celebrating 40 years, but 23 years ago, I was named head of the festival, and I was a newbie, and I was desperate to make this festival happen. And I reached out to Madeline and Pete Hammond to help me out. And Pete has been moderating ever since, every year, come rain, come shine. And Madeline Hammond, his wife, has been moderating the women's panel. And a great part of our success, the film festival, has to do with the Hammonds' support. And I am deeply grateful. And because of that, the Cinema Vanguard Award, starting today onward, will be named the Hammond Cinema Vanguard Award.
Wow. Thank you.
You don't have to say anything. I love the fact that you're speechless. You, Pete Hammond, speechless is priceless. But now about our two honorees that I'm so thrilled to have here tonight. Why were you paired together tonight? Either one of you could have filled up this evening by yourselves. Yet you have me to blame. Both of you are on my list of favorite actors. You both, if I find out one of you is in a film, I will go check it out because I find you both to be the most interesting performers of your generation. When I find out that the two of you together were in The Brutalist, my head exploded. Yeah, fortunately, not literally. It's still here. And the pairing of you lived up to the hype. You're both terrific in this film, and your scenes together are electric. Thank you for being here. I'm a super happy man. The film geek will always remember tonight. Guy Pearce, I became a fan of yours since I saw your work in The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Playing Felicia, the cattiest member of the three drag act group who travels through the wilds of Australia. It was a tricky performance who could have easily become camp, but in your hands, Pearce, you excelled. You've always excelled in tricky performances. Spacey and Russell Crowe and Kim Basinger got all the accolades in LA Confidential, but it's you, Guy Pearce, who handles the most difficult role, and you killed it. You rocked it. And then came Memento. Um, then came Memento, where you had a tightrope of an act, inhabiting a man who is at once utterly clueless and at the same time so short of himself. You've never played the same type of role. In The Brutalist, you finally get your long deserved Oscar nomination. Adrien Brody, similarly, you have taken on such a wide variety of high risk characters: a punk rocker, a bullfighter, Arthur Miller, Houdini, Salvador Dali, and also navigated a wide variety of genres. And any actor who becomes a member of Wes Anderson troupe of actors deserves serious respect. Um, your performances are so committed, so immersive, and now you have two remarkable bookends to your ever expanding career of over 60 films. You have The Pianist and you have The Brutalist. The latter remind us that you're one of our greatest performers. Thank you both. Thank you both for your commitment, your perseverance, your risk taking, and for your continuing to enthrall us cinephiles who love you and root for you, guys. We've rooted for you for so long, and we will continue to do so. And we hope that this award is only just an encouragement to continue to enthrall us. So here, Guy and Adrien, you can both come.
Well, thank you very much. This really is a great honor. Thank you, Roger, so much for your kind words. And Pete, beautiful interview. Great to chat. Great to go through the histories of our careers. I think, as I said before, Adrien and I have a pretty mutual respect for each other. And I think together we've been working at this for about 100 years. It's actually 40 years for me too this year. So I stand in lockstep with the Santa Barbara International Film Festival. As I say, this is a great honor. I'm just thankful to have worked with all the people that I've worked with in my career. I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunities that I've had. I only try to get better constantly. I find it just as exciting as I did when I was a kid. The wonderful worlds that we get to sort of enter with our imaginations based on the great scripts that we receive. It's a great testament to all those fantastic writers out there. So I thank all of them, and I thank all of the wonderful directors that I've worked with, and of course all the great actors and all the great crew members who have, shared this experience together. I share this with all of you. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, Guy. Roger, thank you so much for the beautiful, really beautiful words. And I'm incredibly moved by this, and I love Santa Barbara. And thank you to the Santa Barbara community and the International Film Festival. It's really a magical thing. I've just gone down memory lane with you for a while, so it's hard to find the words to express this gratitude, but I have been doing this for so long, and the privilege of still loving this work and to be receiving this level of respect from so many people is a remarkable thing. I would not be on this stage if it wasn't for the eloquent work that Guy Pearce brought to this movie. You're a remarkable human being and an amazing scene partner, and I've been a fan of your work for so many years, and you really lifted up all of us in this film, so thank you. I owe a lot of gratitude to Brady Corbet and Mona Fastfold for writing such a beautiful film, beautiful role, so much complexity. Thank you. And yeah, it's an honor and a privilege to be here. My team is all here in the audience. It's such a sweet night. I have to say, this is such a sweet night. So thank you all for all the love. I've talked your ear off already. Thanks again to the Santa Barbara International Film Festival.